Okay, so for the lashing on the bench that I showed, that surfboard bench, I made a little model here because I think it's going to make it easier for me to show you without, trying to brace myself and going back and forth just for the camera. It's right here. So basically, this is a piece of bamboo that I used in between two dowels, and essentially this is exactly what you see on the surfboard bench that I made because the dowels are inside of another piece of bamboo which serves as the legs. So really, this is the mechanism. This is how it works. This is what makes it strong anyway. So imagine this would be the bottom. This would be the bottom of the surfboard. This would be the bottom towards the ground. This would be the underside of the surfboard down here. All right. So first thing you're gonna do, I'm just using twine, but in the video I showed, I used hemp. Just put a little loop in the end. Just tie a little loop in the end like this. Now what I do is, and again, this is my technique. I didn't really learn it anywhere. I just kind of studied it for a while and figured it out. I'm going to come up a little bit above this, all right, and then I want this loop to stay right in the middle, and from here I go ahead and pull that tight. I also should mention that I think when you do this, if you wet it, it'll shrink a little bit when it dries and make it even tighter. All right, you want to be neat with it, obviously, because you're going to see all this. Actually, it's part of the design is this lashing, right? So keep going around. I can already see I'm going to be a little too high, so I'm just going to come down a little bit right there. Doesn't have to be crazy tight, but you definitely want it snug. And then usually when I get to the end like this, I just take it, and it really doesn't matter at this point. You can go ahead and just sort of tuck it in here, and you got to make sure it doesn't get loose on you. All right, and you also want to kind of get it out of the way. So, all right, so I'm just going to put it here like that. Right in the middle. Okay, now I'll take another piece. And I'm going to show you, what you're doing first. You're basically just wrapping it around here. Okay, I'm going to move my hand out of the way. You're going to wrap it around here. All right, there's your lashing, right? You're just going to keep wrapping this around all the way out to, right? And then you're going to cut. You do it on both sides, and then you just cut the middle strings out. This holds it really tight. But there's a technique that I like to use. I'm going to show this to you. I use it all the time. Tying guides on fishing poles, whatever. So it's going to be tough. All right. So I'm going to show you the loop first. You got a loop here like this, right? Now what I'm going to do is place the loop right here and just hold it in place. You'll notice there's what I call a tail, a short piece hanging off. This is the tricky part. This is where I think a lot of times people get confused. You take the long one, and with your finger holding both in place, you're just going to run it to a 90 degree over the top of that. See that? But I'm holding it with this finger. If this finger wasn't here, it would just unravel. Hold it here, right up tight, wrap it underneath one time. Okay, that, and then you come all the way around, pull it tight. That holds that tail in place now, right? Next time I come around right next to it. Keep it nice and tight. Go again. Hope you can see this with that camera, but so keep going. See, that's already starting to look good. All right, I went a little long with this, so I'm going to go back there just to show you. Pull it to here. Now, if I didn't do this loop, the question becomes, what do I do with this thing? Right? And then you end up doing stuff that doesn't look too good. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. All right, now you're going to take this, put it in the loop, hold it firm. Right? You're going to let go of the loop. Just hold that. Now you got this short tail. Watch this loop. Pulls that underneath. Nice and tight. Okay? Disappears. Now, the next thing that I do is I cut this here, leave this. Just leave them long, just a little bit. This I should have made this a little longer even. This is when I go ahead and put that spar urethane on it, or just a marine grade poly. I've even used Type Bond 3 glue, whatever you have that you're going to use, and then that will see you paint it on real good. Okay. When it dries, after it dries, you can give it another coat if you want, whatever. After it dries, you go ahead and you just cut this. Done. And done. Now, I didn't do the other side, obviously, So that's just going to fall off. But if I'd done the other side, you'd have the lashing on both ends. You see how nice and tight that is. So there it is. I hope that helps. That's my technique. If you improve upon it, please let me know. You do have waste, but I save it all. I use it for other things. So, all right. Hope that helps.